we go. All right, we're all good. So I did find out why there were two flies buzzing around in the car, and they're still here. I'm like, I don't leave trash okay. Well, I don't leave food trash in my car. I'm going to leave a couple empty pre-workout jugs, but that's clutter at worst. That's, whatever. I'm not trying to justify that either. But I'm like, how the hell are there fruit flies, little tiny, just buzzing around? I feel like I'm in that episode of Breaking Bad. And I look under the seat, and it's the remnants of a freaking apple. It was just sitting there, kind of just crumpled up and disheveled. I'm like, well, no fucking wonder. Throw that thing away. And now I get two companions that I keep thinking are gone, and then I get in the car and I see it twice, because I see it when I'm driving and I see it when I edit the video together later on the computer. Oh my goodness. They can't, there's nothing in here for them to eat now. At least I'm pretty freaking sure. So how long does a little tiny fly like that live? I'm not talking like a regular house fly, like the big one. Like, these are teeny tiny. They can't have that much glycogen stored up to keep flying around on empty, so I think I'll be good soon. But Saturday morning, 7:21, I've got a little bit of a plan. I'm going to go smash legs and then have a stop in the farmer's market, because my city blocks off a couple blocks of the main street, and everybody puts up tents. It's just may as well be like a tiny miniature expo. We'll put it like that. So that'll be kind of fun. But until then, well, shit, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking quads and hamstrings. I'm thinking quads and hams. Now, I'm feeling good. Probably because of 240 extra grams of carbs coming from 3 packs of Sweet Tarts ropes that I had yesterday when I watched Spider-Man Homecoming. So, an extra 1,000 calories, all coming straight out of a simple carb. That means I got a little extra fuel in my tanks. I got a little extra something going on. So I'm going to make use of that for a leg day, which is kind of how all of my most recent refeed/cheat days have kind of been. Obviously, I'm not dieting for like a show or anything right now, but I am trying to stay pretty lean for a bit. But it's always right before a leg day. And that's not planned. It's just kind of been happening that way, which is fine by me. So I got a little extra fuel. But I'm not going to turn that into like a crazy squat set. I think right now, like I hit a good squat a couple, I think like a week and a half ago or so. But no. That's for off season. That's for really grubbing Sam. That's for 240 and above. Right now, I'll just camp out on the hip press with some leg extensions to start and finish. So a little bit of a leg extension sandwich is what I think quads are going to look like. A few leg extensions in the beginning, warm up my quads, warm up my knees, make sure everything's just kind of moving, and then leg press, not too heavy, but heavy enough that 10 is like pretty hard. And leg press is where I do see the benefit of reps in reserve. I'm not like a complete reps in reserve hater where, I say that every set, no matter what, has to be complete total failure. Most working sets that are just like standard, regular, not a drop set, not in anything, I think those should be taken a failure for the most part. But there is value, of course, in deviating from that. I'll do finisher sets for chest where the point isn't failure, the point is just get some extra blood in there from doing good squeezing, pumping reps. So with leg press, I think the value is more damage over a sustained period. So, heavy for 10, like 10, the 10th rep is going to be hard. I'm not going to make it easy, of course, but pick a weight where 10 is like tricky, probably 6 plates, maybe 8 plates. We'll see how I'm feeling, and just run that back maybe 5 times. 5 sets of 10 in the leg press. If that 10 is pretty hard, if it's up there and like you can't do 15, maybe you can do 12, something like that. If you can do 12 and then you do just about 5 sets of 10, maybe 9 towards the end, that is solid. So there's room for nuance. And unfortunately, every time there's anything, debate-wise about the gym, it always comes off as though it's this or that. It's right or wrong. It's correct or incorrect. Whereas that's just not the case, I'd say for the most part, take your sets to failure. But on an occasion like this, with a leg press, or maybe with a more tender muscle like your adductors, I'm not going to overload an adductor machine to the point where I just basically explode my groin and my stabilizers are screwed for the next however many months it would take for me to recover from a torn adductor. That wouldn't make any sense. So you gotta, I'd say dieting is like baking. You gotta follow the recipe to a T if you want the proper end result, at least in terms of calories. But the lifting's more like cooking. You've got some leeway. You can add your own spice to it. You can do things in your own way to a degree. And if anything, you should, because you're going to want to optimize it to how you roll, So just keep that in mind, right? If you're not doing everything to a T just like everybody else, but the reason why you might do something a little bit different makes a ton of sense in your head, then it sounds like you're good to freaking go, and screw that guy for dogging on you. Are you getting a good pump, and are you feeling stimulation in the intended muscle? Hell, I don't care what you're doing. If those two boxes are being checked off, I think you're good. I think you're freaking good, But hamstrings, I guess we'll see. I don't know. Hamstring curls and hamstring curls and hamstring curls and hamstring curls. Laying, seated, and standing. Those are my three. That's my trifecta right now. Hip hinges are going to be more. Well, I just end up leaning heavier into those off-season wise because they get some lower back and they get some glutes. And right now, I'm just trying to stimulate my hamstrings. I don't want bigger glutes, and I don't want a bigger lower back either. I want my glutes and lower back to stay the exact same size, while my legs and my lats and everything else grow around them. Get that fist of the North Star kind of look. Get that JoJo's Part 3 kind of look. That's what I'm aiming for. But I think nothing else to say except to finish drinking my pre, get some more Doja Cat planned. I've been listening to. I'm not gonna crash, but let me listen to Been Like This. That's a good one. That one is, you might hear it through the microphone in some of these sets. But let's get started. Let's squeeze the crap out of this laying curl and go from there. I can handle 70. All right. Come on. Oy. Ooh. Come on. Oh. No. Ha. Okay. Oh, now let's move on. Those were a good 3. Same thing, not too heavy. And actually, I'm gonna go a little lighter. Let's just do 200 out of the 300 available. All right. Okay. Okay. Holy crap. Oh, one more of those, I think. And hell, that might actually be all. The self-assisted reps really, well, we can get into it. Okay. Yeah. I think we're going to move on to quads. This will be 5 in the left, 5 in the right. Repeat until pumped. Or, well, until substantially burning. Let's put it that way. Oh, shit. Ooh. So these I'm treating different than just a regular like pumpish set. At the top of every rep, I really am trying to get an extra hard squeeze. And it may not look it, because it's not like I'm sitting and holding the rep. But sometimes it's the little details, right? I could do a set that looks exactly like this one, but without that extra oomph on the top. Relative to the one I'm about to do, that set would suck. So Just keep that in mind. Try not to mindlessly burn through reps. The harder you can make each rep, well, the better. Let's just put it like that. All right. Come on. All right. Let's hit that hip press. 8 plates is heavy. It's not too heavy, but it's definitely fucking heavy. So let's see what I got. Okay. Yeah. 3 or 4 more of those will do me good. Hey. Okay. Let's finish quads off. Double leg, light, holding, squeezing, jump to the back. Then we're good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Holy shit. Ooh. Oy. Oh, okay. Let's see how we're looking. All right. No point in waiting to catch my breath. Let's just see how we're looking. But shirt completely drenched. Definitely a little bit to do with being carved up. Also, it's pretty freaking hot in here. Also, legs. Typically, hitting legs will do that to you. At least if you're hitting them for real. Oh, and you're not slacking. But let's see how we're looking pumped. So, yeah, we're just bad in focus here. Actually, let's creep down. Yeah, there we go. And now I gotta really make sure. Sorry, technical difficulties. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, I feel like they're so pumped. It's actually almost taking away from the separation. Because the more pumped they get, it's like a balloon. A balloon may have like a triangular shape or something, but once you inflate it enough, it's just going to turn out round in the end. But just standing, feeling pretty thick, and I feel like back to stomach and hamstring to front of quad, comparable thickness, comparable freaking thickness. And that is cool for me. Oh, but going forward into the future, which is going to be the next few months, the point will not be necessarily for the visual effect of the pump. I will not be thinking, well, I guess I still will. But the point won't be, let's see how crazy we're looking. The point is going to transfer over to a lot more value on how nuts was my lift. How many really productive working sets and how hard did I take them? And not even that, because I went hard today, but I'm not growing. I'm just maintaining where I'm at. But put me in a calorie surplus where I'm actually trying to move the scale up a notch every week. I'm also going to try to move my workouts up a notch every week in terms of everything. Weight, maybe a little bit more volume, probably more importantly, more intensity, just more supersets, more drop sets, more intensifiers, more intense sets. And I want to get bigger and stronger. So that's one, I don't want to say a misconception, but that's a question I basically get a lot. And it's essentially like, why are you squatting? Why are you benching the 150s? You know, why are you curling that much? Why are you pushing a row that hard? Like, just only go light squeezing, which is, I don't know why only light squeezing is now suddenly like the convention for muscle building and bodybuilding, as we would call it. Because like, yeah, don't hurt yourself. But in the spectrum of light squeezing to far too heavy, you don't have to stay over here. There's a lot of value in this middle ground and then some. A real set to 8. A real set of 8 on incline Smith where you need a spot or else you're going to get smushed. Or you just have to rack it at the bottom. A set of squats where you really fail and you have to put it down in the safeties. Things like that. I think the benefit is multifaceted. For one, let's take a squat for example. When I do a crazy squat, you know, however many plates, obviously as long as I'm not hurting myself. So it's a weight that I can manage for a good set of 10, 12, 8, something where like it's heavy, but I'm still moving it around. For one, that's a really badass set, and I'm definitely killing my quads during it. But the benefit of pushing yourself that hard and that exertion and that just like, even just one set like that, where it's maximum effort, fucking, you're sending the strongest signals down your neural pathways that you've ever sent before to, like, just try to get the weight to move. I think that makes you stronger, not only physically, but also mentally, in the sense that you're gonna be able to handle going harder on everything else. If I can do a set of 5 plates for 12, and then I go for a 13th, and I have to rack it because there's no way in hell that squat is going back up, how hard do you think I'm gonna be able to take a set of light squeezing tricep extensions? Or a set of pullovers, or a set of even just like hamstring curls? I'm going to take those sets harder. So yeah, I mean, if you're die hard against heft, well, what are you going to do? But I'm just trying to say, if you're someone who's trying to advertise and put out in the world, like, dude, don't push yourself that hard, don't load that much, ease into it, of course. I completely agree. If you hurt yourself by going too heavy, that's on you. You're a fool. You've got to learn from that experience and not do it again. And I'm not just talking, I'm talking to me when I say that too. Every time I hurt myself, I'm a total fucking punk who's just being stupid. So I've been better about that as of late, and I don't want to break my streak. So every time I come in here for something crazy, I don't want to have a tweak. I don't want to have a pull. I don't want to have any fucking problems. The only problem I want to have is, man, I should have done one more. That's that's the problem that I want. And I'm getting real excited to start eating a little bit more grub, because there is and I'll get into this in a second, but there's something about fed off season, like you're eating more food than necessary, so you're growing and you've got more energy at your disposal. I mean, it's like you just fucking had a rage potion in Clash Royale, And I'm not even saying that just to be funny, as a joke. Like, I'm doing easy bar curls normally, maybe 110 for like 12, and that's really all I got. I had a crap ton of carbs last week when I was traveling. Came in to do a fully carbed up arm day. Got like 25 reps of the exact same weight. And the only thing that changed was I had an extra 1,000 grams of carbs in my system, because I let the floodgates loose at the airport kiosk. Swedish fish. I don't even remember. But the extra power of being full, let's just say I'm getting excited for it. And I've been lean for a while, so I've been used to carb depleted deficit training for like almost the last year. I had a little off season in between my last 2 competitions, but not a full on like getting the complete swing of things period of time. And that's what I want to work myself up to going forward for the rest of the year and onward. So I want to stay a little leaner. I'm not going to just start grubbing off rip. And I'm still going to, stay in my deficit calories until the end of the month. Maybe a little bit further into August. We'll see. I'm not in like an insane rush to jump straight to a bunch of food and soften myself up, especially since I'm lean right now and it feels pretty cool. But once I start going from that, like, average, the app that I've been using tracks my average. It's been about 3,000 over the past month. That's a balance of like my normal deficit days plus some extra big days. So probably a few more weeks of that, and then I'm going to creep it up. 3,100, 3,200, 3,300. Really slow. I'm just going to stoke the fire that is my metabolism and gradually heat it up so that I can use the extra food that I eat properly and not just store it as fat for no reason, because I want to get big. I don't want to get soft. So by easing into my calories and upping my cardio, or just maintaining my cardio as I, keep training extra hard, there's just going to be a need for those extra calories. They're not just going to get stored, not meaninglessly, but basically meaninglessly. But this is one comment I got, and then after this we can get in the car. But it kind of irked me a little, but not really, because I understand where he's coming from. The guy essentially just said, like, actually I can't remember exactly. It was something along the lines of, Man, everybody here is like obsessed with the gym. You guys all sound like kids. What was the comment? Because obviously anybody watching these videos is into the gym. That's pretty much all I talk about. Probably 70%. What do you think? 80% gym, 20% totally unrelated banter? Maybe something like that. But I hear him say that, and, well, what are you going to do? You may as well have just said, I don't get it. And if you don't get it, that is totally cool. You don't have to get it. And I think the guy who's really into the gym, who's really comfortable with the amount of effort and time that he's putting into it, he doesn't have to advertise how serious he's going. He doesn't have to advertise to everybody around him like, hey man, I'm working out. This is like really important. Like it's actually really serious to me, dude. Like, I can appreciate the absurdity of life, right? So some guys get kind of a bleak outlook and they're like, what are you doing? What's the point? And if you've ever, I've had this mentality, more like back in like early high school, but if you know anybody who's ever got what's the fucking point, man? Like, I don't get, it's not a negative mentality. It's just an uninformed and an uncreative mentality, because what's the point at the end of the day, right? It's kind of to have fun, Now, sometimes fun is screaming on the leg press and sweating your ass off to the point where when I take this shirt off and put on my fresh one, I could wring the sweat out and it would make a little puddle underneath me. So that's my version of fun right here. And some people, they just don't have that. They don't have their thing. And if that's you, or if you know someone like that, or if you ever get that feeling, that is a call to action, I feel. That is man, I need a thing, because having one, you can have a couple, right? We've all gone down different random rabbit holes of shit. But if you have a real good, energetic, outlet that you can put a lot of effort and energy into, and you get that same sort of energy back in terms of your own mental reward. Like for me, the gym's fucking badass. Every time I come in and kill it, I feel good that I killed it. That's the reward. And then I want to come back the next day and do it even harder. And the next day, and the next day, and the fucking day after that, and the year after that. And I felt like that ever since I got into it, basically 8 fucking years ago when I was 16-year-old, 165 pound Sam, So I really lucked out that this was a thing that just really clicked for me. And as soon as I got into it, it's like, this just got cool. This just got fucking cool. And then here we are. So if you don't have a thing, you just got to find it. But if someone doesn't have a thing and they're dogging on you for having one, don't attribute malice to lack of information. Or the phrase is, don't attribute malice to what could equally be caused by incompetence, right? If somebody cuts you off, but maybe they really didn't mean it, what are you doing getting upset about it? So if somebody looks at you and they think you're going too hard in the gym, hell, if somebody hits me with nobody's ever mean to me out in the world, which is super nice, even if they don't know me. Like if someone just being big, it's always some shit like, I got a bunch of protein in the grocery cart, or just I'm carrying my jug around, everybody hits me with a little something, which is kind of fun. But if anybody hits you like, oh, dude, you're taking the gym way too serious, yeah, you're right, man. I don't know, I'm crazy. And then keep going about your business, right? Don't let that irk you just because somebody doesn't understand. We get it, right? This is for us. We're the in the know. We're the in crowd, right? So we're on the same wavelength. Let's put it like that. But I'm going to pack this shit up. I'm feeling good. I definitely made use of those extra carbs from last night with those leg press sets. And my legs are going to be wrecked for the next few days. Guarantee it. So that's all I got. I will see you in the car. Oh, with a different shirt on. That's what I'm talking about. Microphone on, camera on, pump on. Hell yeah. I'm feeling good. 9:13. Quads have already been wrecked, and I'm on my way for the rest of today. That's what I'm talking about. You tell me. I've gone through phases because, for honestly, the majority of the time that I've been working out, I guess as of late, the majority has been bulking. And my logic when I'm eating a bit more food is I want to come into the gym after at least, well, historically, like 4 huge meals. Now, I wouldn't mind 2. I wouldn't mind 2 decently sized meals to go in and rip a lift, fully bulked, like, carved up and everything. But lately, dieting, I like a morning workout. I like a morning lift. I like getting after it to start my day, rather than making the lift the finisher. Which I guess would make sense, because I always, at least in a little bit of some kind of way, want to change it up. So if I've always been lifting at night, then I guess I would want to lift in the morning just to be different compared to what I've done before. So I don't think there's anything special about it, but it does make the day a little easier. A lot of stuff is going to happen from like 6 to 9. And by stuff, I just mean like regular day outings, like going out to a dinner or just like whatever. So if your prime time gym spot is 7 o'clock, you're kind of eating into that regular time, So that might be playing a little bit of a role, but I don't know. I mean, I've just been like, usually, man, I'm waking up with like pep in my step, because I get up, I'm awake, straight to the bathroom, play on my phone 10 minutes. All right, I got legs. All right, and then the day just begins. I don't want to wait until 8 o'clock to get in the gym. I want to get that stuff started ASAP. So I think that is the bigger contributor. But over these last 2 preps that I've done, since I'm already not eating a ton of food anyway, I'm waking up pretty fresh, ready to train. So it's almost as though I am feeding myself before bed, getting a full night's rest, and then coming into the gym fresh. Also, if you lift in the morning without having eaten a ton of food and having a full stomach, you look crazy when you pose down, because your waist is a little smaller, because you don't have a bunch of food, making your belly look bigger than it really is. That's another angle that's making me like a morning workout, at least while I'm leaner. So a lot of things at play. And notice how none of those are objective, like guaranteed make or break of the lift, make or break of progress, make or break of consistency, or just making gains at all. No, man, not exactly. Like, don't forget, as much as we're trying to optimize, and there are basics. Do not get me wrong, there are certainly basics to the gym. I'm talking like calories in, calories out, cardio, your intensity, frequency. I think hitting everything twice a week-ish is about right. A little more, a little less, not going to hurt you. But beyond that, you can kind of, play around with it. You can kind of see what you like. You can kind of see what ends up working for you the best. And not to mention, you get your whole fucking life in your day to, keep going with. So if somebody is like, hey man, you need to work out at 5 a.m. every morning, no matter what, on the dot, but your schedule just doesn't have a 5 a.m. workout, that's just not happening with you. Like, your day makes more sense to do it later, like at 4, or maybe do it late when at 10, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Whichever day or whichever time of day that it ends up being where you can come in and keep killing it, well, then that's your time, right? And sometimes you got to adjust accordingly. If I get hit with mainly just travel, anytime I'm traveling around, it's like, all right, I'm either gonna hit a lift at 10 o'clock in my destination after however many hours of travel, or I can hit a 4 a.m. lift here at the house, or at the private gym. Ooh, which one's better? Wake up extra early to kill it, or get after it after a full day of running around on a plane and carrying around your luggage and just kind of feeling gross and tired from like a time zone change? Usually I'm going to lean towards that morning side of things, but some guys would say, no way, I'm lifting later when I get there. Right? So there's no clear answer, but for the individual there is, right? For every individual lifter, he has his own answer, which isn't something to be told to him. It's something for you to uncover, and kind of figure out. That's half the game at the gym. I don't think it's just following a program or, looking on paper like, okay, how do I go hard? How do I train to failure? You know, you can read about it all the hell you want. You're not going to know what it's like to have your biceps telling you, I physically can't even move this weight. And then maybe you have somebody spotting you, giving you assisted reps, busting out 5 more. That cannot be quantified in legible words. That is beyond that is beyond the alphabetical. That's higher level type experience. So just by doing it, you get a grasp on it, and you're going to get better. So I'm torn, right? Because I do want to improve, and I do want to think critically about my training, and I do want to do things in a specific way with intent. But don't forget, there's a million ways to get jacked. There's, look at rock climbers, and look at, oh, that's kind of crazy. They're putting a solar panel field over there. That's just interesting to me because I always drive around here. I've never seen that before. But there's guys, a rock climber is fucking peeled. He's got back striations. Now that's probably more diet to do with anything else. But it's like, you can get jacked a million different ways. And the guys who get it, girls as well, of course, they do these 4 things, right? They kill it in their training, no matter what the hell it is. They're sleeping at least decently well. Odds are they're probably pretty hydrated, and they're eating reasonably. You don't have to eat perfect, but they're at least eating reasonably for what their goals are. So if you know somebody, or you are somebody where you got these 4 things on lock, you got these 4 things down pat, then you're golden. You are golden. Just keep going and try to make incremental improvements. And sometimes those incremental improvements aren't even about your training itself. It's just about the effort and how hard you can bring it. So that ends my TED talk on the importance of intensity. Let's put it like that. But badass set of legs, or badass leg day. It wasn't just one set; it was a whole bunch. And I'm gonna feel this tomorrow. I'm probably gonna feel this tonight, actually. So nothing else to say there. But I will see you for some chest. I'm already getting excited for it.